There we go. Welcome everybody, and thank you for coming today. I'd like to start, first of all, by acknowledging that I am coming to you from the traditional territory of the WSÁNEĆ people, on whose land I feel really privileged to live and learn and work. I also want to acknowledge all of you right now. I have, my youngest son is in grade 10, and he is so much more grounded this week as he starts to get into a routine with school. And I just feel really grateful for the work that teachers are doing right now, and really in difficult situation here. So this is just like a heartfelt thank you to everybody for the work that you are doing. So I want to introduce you to Laura Blake. I think people here know her. Laura and I have worked on the courses that we're going to give you a very brief tour of today. And so I'll kind of run the presentation, but Laura will check the chat to see if there are questions along the way, and she'll just be jumping in to share her perspective and her ideas. So just before we get started, just a reminder that we've done this very quickly, sort of opening up these resources. These courses were not really designed as a resource for teachers. They were designed as a wraparound full course for a student who could start the course at any time, who could work at whatever time of day or night they wanted to, and who could take 3 months to finish or up to a year to finish. So just keep that in mind as we look at this. All right. So these are the courses that we have available to share with you at this point. I just want to sort of highlight a couple of things here. The English Studies 12, the Composition 11, and our 2 grade 10 offerings are completely rewritten and using the new curriculum. So they are really focused on the direction of the new curriculum. The English 9 and the Creative Writing are older courses that still work, but they're definitely not as up to date as the other ones. And English Studies 12, we've really focused on Indigenous text in that one. We've also really tried to differentiate the curriculum along the way, mostly through assessment. So I may sort of share that with you a little bit. And Composition 11, even though it's composition, you could probably find resources in there that would be helpful for literary studies as well. So, okay, so there's sort of 2 ways that that we are offering the SIDES resources. We're going to focus today on the SIDES resource as a teacher resource. So just for you to go into a course to find a reading or an assignment or even a unit that you could incorporate into your teaching using whatever platform you're using to deliver your material. And we welcome you to go in and take something, make it your own. So it's totally available for you to do that. It is also available as a full course where people could enroll students into a course. I don't see that as something that would happen very often in English. But if you had a student whose family was really wanting them to have every single thing that they would have had in a regular course, it could be a possibility. We're not going to focus on that today, though. So we'll give you a quick tour, a reminder that these are courses that teachers have developed. So when you're stepping into these, you are kind of stepping into our classrooms. So be kind. Just remember that we're all figuring this out and learning it ourselves. And remember that what's here is totally for you to use in any way that you find valuable. I'm going to show you some of the ways that you might find resources within a course, and then we'll highlight a few specific resources that might be helpful to you. So that's kind of our our approach today. So now this is where it gets tricky for me because I have to switch things. Okay. Do you guys see? Can you see that? How does that look for you?
Yeah, I can see it. Okay.
You can see. So
Looks
what
good.
I've done, it's okay. You can see it. Good. So what I've done is to take us to the BC English Studies 12 resource course, and basically all of our courses are designed in the same way. So they're fairly straightforward. Once you've been into one, you can figure out how to maneuver around in any of them. So basically, you just go into content. And where I would recommend that you start is with the course outline, because the course outline will show you kind of what the plan is for the whole thing. So for example, here you can see, here's what's in Unit 1, here's the focus of it. You can just see sort of overall what would be happening. I just need to move this so that I can see there. And then from there, I would say go to the Unit 1 overview, or whichever unit you're in, and you'll be able to see what kinds of things that we have. So English 12, the English Studies 12, and the English 10 courses are designed around essential questions. All of the units, except for the novel study units, are multi-genre, and there's sort of a variety of assignments that students might work on in there. So I'm going to just go back here and just show you what a typical lesson looks like, and show you how you might use that. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Drew Hayden Taylor, but his writing is fantastic, and this particular reading is one of my favorites. It's called Pretty Like a White Boy. And this is, remember, within a full unit where we're trying to keep a focus on one particular essential question. You don't have to use any of that, but it might be helpful for you because all of these selections are digitized. So you can go in and take something like this and use it for yourself. I'm going to show you very quickly how you could just take something from one of our courses and just download it for yourself. As you can see, there's a lot of graphic design in here, and actually just copying something into your own Google Drive is a bit complicated. But if you see this up at the top, there's a little, the little listen button, and there's an arrow underneath it. And if you click over here on this little square with the arrow in it, it's called Simple View. So if you click on that and scroll down a bit, somewhere in here, haha, there it is. From here, you could just copy and paste this whole thing, and then just take what you wanted from it and use it for yourself. And you should be able to easily copy it into a Word document or into a Google Doc, whatever you're using. What you'll also find in each of these are the wraparound pieces. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you know that you want to do something with creative nonfiction, you might find something like this and say, oh, look, yay, there's a graphic organizer that goes along with it. And you could just click on that graphic organizer and use it. And that might be your assignment. If you want to have more information, then there are a number of sort of questions with responses that you're welcome to use. This is very much designed for students who are not in a classroom, where we can have those really rich, deep conversations about a piece of literature. So I don't know that would be useful or not, but if it is, then that is great. What you will also find in here is more focused instruction on, so in this one, at the end, there's a paragraph assignment that they have to do. And again, because we are working with our students at a distance and they're all in different places, what we have are, you know, some fairly detailed instructions about the various you know, the various pieces of writing that we give them. So there may be something, again, that could be helpful to you for this. You can also find, like here, watching video, you could just click on that. It's just a YouTube video, which you could pull for yourself if you don't have something already available. The one other thing that I want to focus on just very quickly is that we've been trying to design our new courses with the understanding that we no longer have Communications 11 and 12. So we've been playing around with new sort of assessment forms that give kind of a wider range for what a student could do. So if you look at the rubric down here, the rubric is a little bit more developed, and as you further go down, it's not like a typical 654. It's like at 4, really you didn't actually use quotes and you didn't need to use quotes. You just found some supporting examples. So we're just trying to help students to find a place that's comfortable for them. And some of the assignments, a core assignment will be a bit different altogether than a extension assignment. Laura, do you want to weigh in here about?
Yeah. So there is, I was just thinking, yeah, in terms of it not just being the rubric, sometimes if the assignment is different. So for example, a bit later in the course, they have the option to submit strictly a graphic organizer or a chart. And if you want to go for the extension, then you develop that into a paragraph. So that's a nice way to where it is differentiated that much more. Yeah.
Okay. Were there any questions that were coming up at this point?
There was just one around like how do we get into these courses? So I just looked on the learnsaanich.schools.ca and a few tabs in, I hope this link works. I just copied and pasted the URL there in terms of how people can access, but it looks like they're requesting it from tech support from what we can understand.
Yeah, and I've got a little bit of information about it at the end there too.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So what you will find is that there are different ways that you could use this. And again, feel free just to pull a reading or pull a reading with the assignment and the rubric, any of the wraparound stuff that's helpful for you. I hear really loud and clear the sense of overwhelm at this point, and I don't want to overwhelm you more. But if there are some things here that are helpful to you, we'd love for you to be able to access them. The other thing I just want to show you for this, and this is basically what we do for our novel studies, rather than doing a novel with the whole class and getting to have those, again, those rich, deep conversations that you get to have when you're in a classroom all sharing information about the same piece of literature. We can't do that. So we create sort of independent novel studies, and students, we sort of have a set of books that students can choose from, but these actually could work with any novel. They're very open-ended, and they are maybe an easy way to give your students something that they can work on for a longer period of time. So again, with these, what we've done is to give a core and an extension piece, and So it's really a set of questions or a piece of writing that they complete. And so what we've done is just asked a variety of questions that are hopefully open-ended and thoughtful, and ask students to make connections to the literature and to their lives. And there's a selection of different questions that they can ask, or that they can choose to answer, and they sort of get a little bit more complex as you head down the list. So this is the kind of thing that you could use with, every student could be working on their own novel, and you could just give them this work. And I also could see that you could use this instead of as a novel study. You could use it with as a literature or a film study or something like that. You could fairly easily adapt for that. So I'm not going to spend a lot more time here, but I'll just show you very quickly a couple of the other courses. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So this is one of our grade 10 courses, and we've got 2 units each for these. The units are, again, multi-genre, and there are different options for what students might find and complete in there in terms of the assessment. So in our Lit Studies course, we've got 3 kind of smaller multi-genre units, and they are based around themes. So I think this one again is an identity theme, and there's a balance of as much as we could. We tried to find BC authors, Indigenous authors to incorporate in. This is a Carla Funk poem that I just love. Just so you know, this is some of our courses, the way that we organize them graphically looks different. So in this one, you would click on work on it to find the instruction for the day. And here's the actual poem right in there. And then there would be a wrap it up section, which might or might not have a specific assignment in it. Oftentimes, because this is for our students, we try to have a number of, we sort of spread things out over a number of lessons. So, okay, any questions there? Is there anything that you'd like to see specifically before I come out of this part of the presentation?
I'm just going to maybe say, Sally, in terms of synthesis, if anyone's looking for synthesis ideas in the Lit Studies, it's really great in terms of power. There's a lot of choice when you get down to the final assignment there. So drawing on, short story, poem, play. So there, I was just going to say that would be maybe a good one to look at in terms of if any idea or people looking for perhaps any kind of synthesis or comparative essay. There's lots to draw on there in terms of choice and variety.
Perfect. So that's Unit 1, Chapter 3 of the Literary Studies course. And as I said at the beginning, take what's valuable to you. If there's one lesson that's valuable, or one reading that's valuable, or a whole segment, whatever you can use, it's yours. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to move us back. Stop the share at this point. Actually, I'm going to share the screen one more time. So, hello. I'm going to share one more time here and just. oh, I wanted to show you this, and this is the SD63 Indigenous Ed page, and we have been working on a set of Indigenous resources for English. So you can also go here if you're just looking for something that you could use with your class. There's all kinds of poems and essays and short plays and creative nonfiction, you name it, documentaries. There's a number of people who've been working on this: Debbie Nicol, Laura, Asha Sidhu, and Sarah Matheson have all been involved. So this is actually also a really helpful resource for people. So yeah, so I covered that. And this is where you would find the information. Let's put that back into present mode. So if you go to learn.saanich-schools.ca, you'll find this page. Under what courses are available, you have to go to the sides courses, and then from there you can access. You just fill out a form, and we can get a course or a set of courses to you for you to look at. The other thing is, if you're looking for something specific, you know that there's something that you really wanted to do with your class, you're feeling overwhelmed, and you just want some help with it, email me, and I can sort of direct you to things that might be helpful within a course. So I'm happy to do that. Okay, Laura, was there anything that you wanted to add?
Good question. I don't think so. Oh, one thing maybe perhaps if you're looking through any courses, just under the resources section, sometimes there's some nice helpful videos and tips in terms of grammar and other kind of resource-based things. If you have students asking about that, I'm definitely noticing an influx of emails from students. So perhaps you're also noticing some questions you could normally answer in the classroom quite easily. But those might be helpful as well, as just a quick link to send them to, just to help support that distance now that we have. Yeah, so the resources part might be another, helpful spot, just as a quick go-to. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to stop the recording now, but Laura, thank you. After I stop the recording, then if there are people who have questions, we can go from there.
Good.